And welcome back to day 10 of the adventures of a new Amarr pilot. Today we're going to focus on working through our air career missions for the distribution agents. These take a little while to do, but this is probably one of the more casual type of gameplay you can do. It doesn't take a lot since you're doing level 1 and level 2 distribution missions. You're going to stay in high sec. You're not carrying anything of value, so the odds of someone scanning you down to gank you, other than just to give you a hard time, are very slim. But if you're looking for a casual evening gameplay and really don't want to concentrate much, you just kind of want to warp around, make a little extra money, get some loyalty points, distribution missions are definitely a way to do it. And you can get them done quickly, and then if you're looking to grind some standings, it's another quick way to get a bunch of missions done and get those 16 missions out of the way so you can get a storyline mission put in place to help boost the standings even quicker. It's not a bad way to do it. You can actually get the distribution missions generally done quicker than you can a security mission. So I've done it both ways. You get a little more standing with security missions, but they take a little longer versus doing a distribution mission, and they go quicker, but the standings don't increase as quickly. So who's to say which one is necessarily better? It's not going to cost you anything to run distribution missions, generally speaking, because you're not expending any ammo. But you can also make more ISK and more loyalty points doing the distribution mission. Or, I'm sorry, not the distribution mission, but the security missions. So it's kind of up to you. But since we're concentrating on the air career programs, getting those 20 knocked out, it's going to take a little bit of time to do 20 missions. You're looking at an hour and a half to get all 20 done. Now, as always, you can use the agency tab to find distribution agents nearest you, or if you're looking for specific levels, it's always how you look them up. That's where you're going to find most of your game content outside of PvP type stuff. So we're going to head and warp to our first agent mission, which is just a station away for us, not too far away. Now, a lot of times when I'm actually doing distribution missions, I usually have it set up on an alternate account while I'm doing something with my main account. It's just a simple way to grind more loyalty points with very little effort. If I got a ship sitting in space for a couple minutes, I'm generally not overly concerned. But it just, something to do on the side. For those of you that do run two accounts, that's often what I do. Alright, we're docking up here. We're going to go ahead and talk to our agent mission. Level 1 distributions are all you need to complete these air missions. So there's not really much of a point in doing any level 2s. Now what I always like to do is I right click the pickup location, set that destination, and then I will right click on the drop off location and add a waypoint so my autopilot routing is all set. And then if my drop off location isn't the same as where my agent is, then I will add another waypoint back to that agent so I can just keep cycling back and forth from that agent. That way I can grind the same standings for the same corporation instead of just looking for a new agent nearby. It's just, to me, it's a little bit easier to just keep grinding the same agent, especially since some of these lower level distribution agents are multi-part missions. This one has 5 objectives. After you complete a mission, you'll get another mission and then another mission. So that way you can just keep it under control with that. Alright. Yeah, where I made the mistake is I was using my hauler. Fitted explorer ship. Fix it with a fast align time and fit it for fast warp drive. Don't worry about the cargo. Level 1 and 2 missions distribution missions can handle it's usually under 400 M3 for your cargo space, so your explorer vessels will be able to hold any cargo for the level 1 and level 2s. At level 3, you might need something a little bit bigger, but the haulers are just generally too slow to do those missions. For level 4s, you definitely need a hauler with a little space. I've seen those get as high as 5,000 M3. And if you don't want to split the cargo up and have to make multiple runs, which is not efficient, then make sure you've got the right cargo space for those. If you run in an expo, you'll get this career agent mission done way faster. It's also not a bad way to, once again, grind those standings and get them up there for you. Now, I mentioned this before, when you're grinding standings and you're running missions, when you get those storyline missions from running 16 missions in a row, it is whatever the highest number level missions are run. So if you were running some level 2s, and level 1s, if you have 8 or more level 1s, that's going to be the storyline mission they give you. So you want to be careful. If you just grind these missions up until you have the standings to run level 4s, and you're just doing hauling, when you get a storyline mission, there's a chance that it could be a level 4 combat mission on that storyline mission. And if you don't have, for level 4, at least a battle cruiser, you're going to find that level 4 storyline mission is very difficult to handle. So always keep that in mind. Make sure you have the appropriate level ships for the appropriate storyline levels. You can just strictly stick to level 1, level 2s, and if you happen to get a combat mission in the storyline mission, it's not hard to just jump in your destroyer or even a good frigate to get those missions done. It's not the end of the world. And worst case scenario, you get somebody to help you out real quick with that mission. Always don't forget to grab your cargo and put it in your ship. I generally try to make sure I leave my cargo bay open. You will get the orange blinky light on the left side of your screen in your cargo container when a new thing appears. So if you're doing these, make sure you leave that orange blink on. Now, watching me do distribution missions will get boring real fast. So we're going to kind of look over the destroyers. In the last video we did the frigates. The Dragoon, since it's an energy drain type ship and a neutralizer for Amarr, those don't really work on NPC rats. The Nosferatus and the energy neutralizers are more for PvP content. So we'll focus on the Corsair fitting. The nice part about this is you can actually fit all 8 high spots with lasers. Makes for a nice DPS damage, but once again, the destroyers are meant to be frigate killers. They're not meant to take damage. They're a little paper thin. But as you can see here, even with Tech 1 blasters, you get 170 to almost 200 DPS depending on your skills. Oh, I removed a frequency. But yeah, you can get over 200 with, the Imperial Navy multi-frequency in there. So you can do a fair amount of damage with this destroyer. Now, on down the line when we do the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc, it's easiest to do in a destroyer. And by the time you do that, you should probably try to put the Tech 2 versions of your lasers in there, the brawler lasers, the up close ones. And on the very last mission, if you're Tech 2 with the Tech 2 short range crystals, you'll burn through that very last fight in no time. It can be a little harder if you're using the ranged guns versus the short range ones. but it will work. It just takes a little longer. And the one thing to keep in mind, as always, is you will be able to be kind of more or less cap stable with this, as long as you're pulsing the boomer, stop barking, as long as you're pulsing your repairs, if you don't want to necessarily leave it on. With lasers, any laser ships, you're generally not always going to be heavily cap stable. You can try to work toward it, but it's generally not worthwhile. Now I'll have a link again to the Eve workbench fit for this. It's nothing special. I mean, keep in mind this is just a basic fit. It is just Tech 1 stuff, so it's not spectacular. The one thing I did realize when I was doing this is if you're going with the range type fit, you may have to fit the range tracker in the low spot to increase your targeting range, especially with the Tech 2s, because you will actually target out farther than your ship is capable of locking the target, so you need to increase your locking range. Otherwise, you're not firing at the optimal range. But you know, that can be adjusted with the proper skills and increasing your long range targeting skill. But when I was going through it on this player, without that low slot target enhancer, you get an extra targeting lock, which is nice for destroying pirates, but I was like 3k short of being able to target at my optimal range. So make sure you keep that in mind. You know, check your max range, your optimal range against your actual capabilities to target enemies at range. Now I was also looking at doing a optimal range tracking computer. The scripts allow you to get increased range or increased tracking. If you don't put the scripts in there, you kind of get a flat increase for both versus offsetting one versus the other. So sometimes you can put it on there, give yourself a little bonus to tracking speed and optimal range bonus. But if you need the additional bonus for like range, let's say, then you put the range script in there. But you don't have to have the scripts in there. That just gives you a better bonus while giving you a greater offset. So with no script, you get a kind of a balance. With the scripts, you offset. So I often just have it on there without any scripts. And the scripts are just like ammo. So play around with it, see what works for you. But we're still cruising away through the distribution missions. Unfortunately with these so I hate these 5 part 1s because it's part transporter products, part mining, part combat. And it's kind of annoying. So a lot of times I actually just turn down that 5-part series. It's not a big deal. Ooh, a cinematic of my... Oh, so this is the first time I jumped into the Corsair. So I love this feature. You get to see a nice breakdown of the Corsair. So to continue on with this mission, I have to go blast a couple people. So we're going to go ahead and fit the Corsair. Unfortunately, I don't have everything I need here, so I'm going to have to shoot over to Jeddah 44 real quick and fit that ship. So when I select buy all, I'm obviously missing important elements for this area. So head to your nearest trade hub. For me, it happens to be Jeddah, but if you're actually staying in Amarr space, then it would be Amarr. If you're in Minmatar space, I believe it's Heck, and the Galente is Duo Dixie. But check Eve University. Just put in market hubs, and it will show you the primaries and the secondary hubs. Eve University is a great tool for finding information. Yep, as I'm cruising around, I'm just going to get a couple project discoveries done. draw pretty little boxes, get free money. Once again, it's a little risky doing that as you're warping around, but look, you're still at the beginning of the game. You really don't have much you can lose. And honestly, a couple project discoveries will actually pay for your fittings, so it's definitely worthwhile doing every day. Once you max out your project discovery to 99%, your daily max payout is usually enough to fit you into a frigate. So even if you lost all your ships and didn't have any assets and all you had was your Corvette, you could quickly get the money you need to fit a ship. I'm like, this Corvette costs 12 million just to fit, and that's mainly because I've got some Navy ammo in there that's a little more expensive. So no matter how bad you play, there's always a way to make money in this game. So just experimenting to see what the ranges are with my different ammo types. It's always good to know your ranges. Yeah, now we're off to go take care of this mission. A little fast edit, and we'll go ahead and jump to our mission location. Destroy all these enemies. They're just drones. Honestly, I should probably split my guns, but one shot, one kill on these things is no big deal. Mission's complete. Set destination. Head back to the agent. We'll go ahead and dock up. So now we have a mine and build mission for this 5-part series. I got to build those basic robotics. Luckily, I've had the mining material from, the mining missions and mining earlier. So I have the ability to make it real quick. Although you have to wait 6 minutes. Almost 7 minutes for this to build. Which is annoying. That's why I usually just decline that mission when I get it. There's another 5-part series where you race around collecting little dolls. That one's kind of annoying too, but it's not nearly as bad. So I would say keep your destroyer handy, and then obviously not your hauler, but your exploration ship, and you can knock out these missions in no time. Just cleaning out my inventory a little, getting rid of the Corvette. They're free, so you can't get anything from them, so I'm just gonna clean up my inventory a little. Didn't need it. Now we have to go do a quick mining mission for distribution. So we're gonna mine a little bit real quick to get the stuff we need for the robotics. Luckily, they give you a private mining field you can go mine, so that's nice. You don't have to worry about other players jumping in on you necessarily unless they scan you down. They obviously are going to have a couple rats in there for you. So if you got your Venture and you've got your drones, the drones can take care of the rats pretty quickly. Even the Tech 1 drones, knock it out. Go mine those rocks. The rocks should be more than enough for what you need for the mission. Now I already had the stuff I needed, but had to wait anyway for the construction to complete. So go ahead and reprocess that, deliver my robotics, and then the next mission you're going to have to go deliver those robotics. So much fun. Yeah, the nice part is I don't recall too many level 3 or level 4 missions that aren't strictly distribution. Just space trucking. See, now we gotta go mine a worthless ore. That's part of the reason why I initially did the mining missions first, because you get to make sure that you've got the skills necessary to mine efficiently. If you bump up your mining skills, you can mine these rocks pretty fast. The better your mining skill, the faster the cycles are. Yeah, but I need to get my long-range tracking up because they're just out of range initially. The drones can attack them, but I can't lock them. So you can set your drones to aggressive, and sometimes they'll go attack it on your own if it locks you up. But they won't attack until you're locked. Alright, we're going to go ahead and turn in our lousy ore. Make a little money. And we are good to go. Alright, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It helps out the channel greatly. I do have some more upcoming videos we're going to do. We're going to keep working on these Amarr guides. But I'm going to actually do more actual strictly guides than just traveling. We got some live streaming events coming up where I've got a brand new account that we put together not too long ago. And we're going to kind of go through this process in more detail. Oh, the dog's at the door. He wants in. Silly boomer. So in this one, you have to destroy a transmitter. It's so weird that a distribution mission is a combat mission. Yep, upcoming guides. I've got a couple things in the works, so, you know, stay tuned. I've been working on a rather big project that 60-70% of the way done with. So stay tuned for those announcements as well. I appreciate the feedback. And yep, we're going to get ready to call it a night here. Get docked up in station. And I'm going to just make sure that I got my skills set up for the next couple days. And I guess sometimes when it comes to distribution missions, you have to take a lesson from Boomer and just go roll around in the mud and get dirty a little. Silly puppy. He was not happy having to get a bath. Luckily, he hasn't done that in a while. But go ahead and just turn in your missions and just keep grinding away. Yeah, you can see here 300. Get a little bit of standing. It's just small points at a time. But you have to keep grinding away at it. Alright folks, that's it for today. Not super productive, but we did manage to get halfway through that distribution mission career agent program. So we'll pick that up tomorrow and move on from there. You have a good night.